Right next to me is a suit of armor. And you may be wondering, why do I have a suit of armor? How did I get it? And how strong is it? How did I get this armor? Over the last couple months, I spent my entire free time building this. You can go check out my videos, links will be somewhere. As for why I have it, I think samurai are the coolest ancient world's warriors. Now I had this armor just sitting there as an awesome display piece, but I still had one thing plaguing my mind, and that was, how strong is my armor? But the video didn't go as planned. Here, I'll let the clip play. Now right here is a piece of my armor. I accidentally made it a little bit too small, so it's a spare piece. And today we're going to be testing to see how strong it is. We're going to be testing it against the most common weapons found on the battlefield.
So originally, I was just going to use this spare piece of armor and test all these weapons against it. But after spending a day trying to break the armor, it didn't break.
But after all of that, the armor was still holding strong. Although battered, bruised and bent, the armor was still holding its own, and I was willing to put my actual set on the line.
The first weapon we're going to use is this bow and arrow. I made this bow and arrow in a previous video, and if you're wondering where's the helmet and mask, well, the mask is made of plastic and it would have just broke, but the helmet would have just flung off if I hit it. After all that, the armor was holding well, small dents and scratches, but nothing too bad.
Whoa, stop right there. Before we move on to the next weapon, I just want to go over some myths about armor. Why can't I just stab you between the cracks, or between the plate? Well, this is the reason. The sword can't go through the plate overlaps. It's as simple as that. And if you go from above and go down, well, it's just going to slide down the chest. Yeah, you might get a little bit of a cut, a small little thing, but it's not going to end your life. It's not going to stop you from fighting. Yes, you can aim between other gaps, such as the armpits, or the neck where I have left open, or the eyes. This is all things people did do.
Next is the bow staff, or just bow. So I lined it up and went for my first hit when I realized I need to put it on a mannequin. After smacking it around a bit, it held up fine. After all, it is just a wooden stick.
How does somebody actually stop somebody in armor? Well, there's two ways. One, which is MMA style, as you would grapple your opponent, trying to put a dagger between little gaps that were created. And another way was using blunt force. That's why maces were made. Alright,
next are these little sticks. Kind of like the bow staff, but I felt like I could swing them a bit better. Okay, so I realized wood was never going to really damage my armor. The only real damage that ever happened was against the sticks. They got damaged.
Oh, and also maybe not all the weapons were found on the battlefield, but I had them, so I wanted to use them.
Nunchucks. These just bounced right off the armor. I was also going to use a 3-section staff, but I was too scared of hitting myself after that move. As for when I used the nunchucks on the spare piece of armor, I managed to just put a big dent in the wood. I wasn't too happy about that.
Now at this stage in the video, I was really considering not uploading it, because it doesn't look like I'm hitting the armor all that hard. I don't know if that's just because of the camera I'm just using my phone, but I promise you I am hitting it hard. I mean, the nunchucks weren't great, but then again, they weren't meant to be used on armor. In fact, they did horrible against the armor. They did great as a hammer when I missed and hit one of the nails. Okay, that marks the end of our wooden weapons, and it's time to move on to our metal ones.
The first metal weapon we're going to be using is the sai. This is the same weapon that Raphael from the Ninja Turtles uses. And I already managed to hurt myself. I also realized I can't really hit it that hard because I was afraid of breaking the mannequin, so I set it up on the floor, but this time I put wood and some bricks in there to make sure it wouldn't fall over.
Now, samurai armor originally came from Chinese armor, but the Japanese put their own twist on it, and after centuries of evolving, the armor became its own, becoming stronger and looking cooler.
Now it's time for the sword. This is the final weapon we're going to be using, and I can happily say this armor would easily protect you against a sword strike. Now, it was a bit awkward striking at this angle. I wish I had it up a bit more, but I couldn't put it on the mannequin without risking it.
Okay, and here we are at the aftermath of all of that. Now, on camera, I don't know how well you can see it, but there's a massive dent here, another one here, and I've noticed that this very bottom one is poking out a lot further than it did at the start. I've also managed to dent one of the top shoulder blades, and a lot of paint has been scraped off. Now, unfortunately, there were two weapons I really wanted to test out on my armor, but I couldn't. The first one being a mace, as that is what would destroy armor, denting it in and making it unusable, and the second one being a spear. This video just shows that movies lie. In movies, armor is pretty much like paper and things go through it all the time. But in reality, armor does protect you. It's strong, durable, and can withstand a lot of damage. If somebody was to come along with a sword and hit me as hard as they could with it, yes, my armor may not have cracked, but my ribs definitely have. If you want to see me make or test anything else, put it down in the comments below. I read every one and I'd love to have some more ideas of things to make. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.